Time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Florence Vilmino. Flo, good to see you.
Hey, Delano.
Now, if you've spent any time in France in the recent summer, you'll notice it's gotten hotter, a whole lot warmer, especially in French cities. This week, we're going to take a look at how big cities in France are combating climate change. But first, what's the situation like?
Well, for a long time, climate change was discussed as a future problem, right? But today, it's clear that climate change is here and it's accelerating. According to Météo France, for instance, mainland France has already warmed by about 1.7 degrees Celsius since 1900. And the French government is planning for a France that is 4 degrees Celsius warmer by the next century. Paris, for instance, is projected to be as warm as Seville in Spain. So it means that each year, essentially, new climate records are broken in France.
Flo, we tend to talk about these issues when there's a heat wave, and those are becoming more and more frequent.
That's right, and a heat wave is our word du jour. In French, you talk about a canicule. So what counts as a canicule? Well, it really depends on where you are. In Paris, for instance, a canicule is defined as a period of at least 3 days during which daytime temperatures reach 31 degrees Celsius and nighttime temperatures remain above 21 degrees. What happens at night is very important. Now, heat waves are not only becoming more frequent, they're becoming longer and more intense, and it's only projected to get worse. As you can see here, you can see the number of heat wave days per year in the capital from 1885 and what's projected in 2085. So this trend that we're seeing in Paris is true for all cities in France. Lyon, Marseille, Bordeaux, Nice, across the country, the heat is getting more uncomfortable.
Il y en a marre parce que c'est difficile à supporter, quoi.
Quand on voit en 10 ans la différence de température, c'est incroyable. C'est incroyable. Il y a 10 ans, on ne souffrait pas comme ça.
Je pense à cette belle petite génération qui vient là, ne pas les étouffer, ne pas les enfermer.
Tard, ça va être un enfer, je pense.
Now, it should be said that cities tend to suffer more because of this urban heat island effect.
That's right, due to several things. Asphalt absorbs the heat, buildings store the heat, and heat remains trapped essentially overnight. We talk about tropical nights. Now, it must be said, French cities are very active when it comes to adapting to climate change, and they're doing so on several fronts. For instance, they're removing asphalt, creating cooling islands, which is essentially places with fountains and shade. But the biggest strategy is to plant trees and plants. This is what we call la végétalisation. It's not about decoration, it's about lowering temperatures.
On ne peut plus se contenter du pansement sur les îlots de chaleur. Il faut vraiment qu'on crée maintenant des îlots de fraîcheur, végétation beaucoup plus abondante, on plante les arbres de façon plus dense.
C'est le défi du siècle là pour Lyon.
Ah mais c'est le défi du siècle pour l'humanité.
Now, Flo, there are also efforts to tackle all of this through architectural changes like insulation, but in a city like Paris, that could be challenging.
That's right. Now, when you think about the urban landscape in Paris, you think about these beautiful Haussmannian buildings with their zinc roofs. 60% of Paris's roofs are made out of zinc. Now, in the second half of the 19th century, zinc became popular as a material because it's lightweight, waterproof, inexpensive, and it was well suited for Paris's climate at the time, rainy and temperate. So it was charming yesterday, but today it's a heat trap.
Plus on monte, plus il fait chaud. Nous, on a à peu près une toiture qui est équivalente à celle-là, pour vous donner une idée. Ça peut monter, les toitures en zinc, jusqu'à 60-70 degrés par temps de canicule. Donc forcément, ça fait un effet four.
It gets really toasty in those chambres de bonne. Now, in the other parts of the country, there have been suggestions to perhaps paint roofs white, like you'll see in Greece or in Spain. But in Paris, there are very strict laws about protecting the urban architecture, etc. So a lot of people say there's a snowball's chance in hell that that'll happen in Paris.
Okay, there is a solution staring us in the face. It's called air conditioning. Air conditioning. Why are the French so resistant to this?
Well, they have that reputation. Foreigners and especially Americans are always shocked at the lack of air conditioning in France. And the French are the first to tell you that air conditioning is unnecessary, environmentally harmful, and will make you sick. This is something that comes up a lot. But attitudes are changing. Heat waves, as they become more severe, a lot of people are buying AC units. In 2016, 14% of people had it. Now it's up to a quarter. So things are turning around.
So what do people do if they don't have air conditioning units?
Well, the joke goes that French air conditioning is essentially closing your shutters and hanging around in a dark room in front of a fan in your underwear.
Eating ice cream.
Other people, go to the museum where there's AC, or go
movies.
shopping, or go to the movies. You name it. People get very creative when it comes to cooling down when it gets hot.
On met plein de ventilos de partout, on met une piscine et...
Dans l'appartement.
Ouais, dans l'appartement. On met la baignoire et on fait tous les jeux d'eau possibles pour se rafraîchir un peu.
Pour dormir, c'est ventilateur obligatoire. Je mets une serviette humide dessus pour pouvoir aérer le plus possible.
C'est efficace?
Ça fonctionne, ça va. Je me réveille 2-3 fois par nuit. Je bois des tonnes d'eau.
I personally love to come to work when there's a heat wave because we have AC.
I agree. I know. And then we fight with the French colleagues. Thank you very much, Florence Villemino there. And that's it for this edition of French Connections. You can check out previous editions on our website, france24.com.